notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere.
It's bacon time. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dads with Bacon Talking Sports. It is February 5th, 2025. It is the show right before the Super Bowl licks, or Super Bowl 59, if you like to use the numbers. So welcome. I will bring on, sorry for the late start here. This was live podcasting. This what makes it fantastic. We had some technical difficulties, but we'll bring on Adam and we'll bring on TJ. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. TJ, how are you doing?
I just follow what Adam does and just wave my hand.
Smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave. What a lot of people are going to be doing for the Super Bowl this weekend that don't want to watch it.
Yeah. I will say this. I say a lot of stupid crap when I'm upset, especially on social media. And I believe I may have said something to the effect of that I wasn't going to watch the Super Bowl. And that was stupid because I am. I mean, my wife's a huge fan, and she, makes this whole big spread of different hors d'oeuvres, and then, chicken legs and all kinds of other, shrimp and everything else. So she was like, you're gonna watch it or you can't eat. I was like, well, shoot. No,
wow. Watch the Super Bowl. Starve. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's when McDonald's, Burger King, whatever is closest to you becomes your best friend, and just be like, all right, deuce.
You know what? I would make a big deal about it, but there's a lot of guys out there that complain that their wives don't like sports at all, and actually mine's just the opposite. I mean, football's her big thing. She's not a big basketball fan or anything like that, but I'm actually pretty lucky because I have dated women before her that hated sports, period. So, and it was like, I don't know how I could have ever possibly married any of them, and I'm not going to complain. I'm a lucky guy, but I'm not looking exactly forward to the Super Bowl. How about you, TJ? What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl coming up here?
I'm going to grab a pillow, a blanket, and go to sleep. I will probably watch the national anthem and go to bed. That's it.
Jeez.
I could care less. We saw this game 2 years ago. We already know how that went out. It's kind of funny because when you look at the ticket prices right now are actually plummeting. They're down 58% because people are still trying to they're still trying to recuperate from going to the Kelsey Super Bowl. Now they're back in it against each other, but one Kelsey's not there, so tickets were, they're pretty cheap. And a buddy of mine and I were just we were cackling like little bitches today about this, that there are so many seats that are not reseller seats still available. So that just shows you that not a lot of people want to go to the Super Bowl this year.
That says a lot, considering it's in New Orleans. New Orleans seems like an amazing place to go. Great nightlife, great food, great drinks. There's Bourbon Street. You got all the local ones. Heck, if you've been watching the new season of Kitchen Nightmares, you can literally go to some of the restaurants that Gordon is literally trying to save because of the business Super Bowl is going to bring in to hopefully keep these businesses afloat. There's so much tied into it. And we get Chiefs and the Eagles, which the Chiefs have an elite defense. The Eagles are the best overall team in football from offense, defense. I don't know about their special teams too much, but they have Elliott, which is really good as a kicker. This is, I want to say the right two teams are there on paper. The right two teams should have been Buffalo and Detroit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Detroit, what happened to the Eagles last year happened to Detroit this year. Got injured towards the end of the year. Too many players out, and it was really tough to get through the playoffs. And the injury showed for the Lions in that divisional game, regardless of having an extra week off to prepare. But I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be at a contracts conference, and I'm going to be hanging out with a bunch of colleagues and watching the Super Bowl, more or less just mingling, talking, and, I'll be watching the game in the background. I have literally no interest in this game other than been on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon since he was with Alabama. and has been a big supporter of his. And I hope Jalen Hurts wins this for a Super Bowl. I really do.
So do I. And it makes me, this is going to be one of those games where I feel kind of dirty afterwards, no matter what. Because
so take a shower afterwards, you're fine.
Rolled up in the corner like the crying game, just like, but it's one of those games where it's like, obviously Kansas City, I think pretty much all of America except Kansas City Chiefs fans don't want them to win. But at the same time, if the Eagles win, I mean, the only good thing to me, and I mean, I guess Hurts is fine. I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with Hurts, but I do like Saquon Barkley. I think he's a class act. I think in that Packer game at the end there, when he basically took a knee after he broke free, and all they needed was the first down, and he just kind of went down, was like, "Hey, I don't need this." I mean, could have easily scored a touchdown, because I mean, no one was going to stop him, and he didn't. And I was like, as a pack, now had he scored the touchdown, I wouldn't have been like, well, that guy's a dick. But at the same time, it showed some class. I mean, the guy was like, hey, we don't need any bad karma here. I'll go down and whatever. But before we talk a little bit more about the game,
what an a-hole for doing his job.
I know.
How dare he?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, amazing what happens, and we'll get into this, but amazing what happens when you give an elite running back a good offensive line, let alone a great offensive line. This is what the Giants wanted him to be in New York. Yep. That's also your fault for not building a good offensive line to get the man the ball and then paying him.
Yep,
and the Eagles did that. And 1 year, career year, almost a record-breaking year for him.
Should have been a record-breaking year for him.
Should have been, exactly.
But no, I wanted to go back though, Adam, to what you had said and get both of your takes on this. You had said that you felt it should have been Lions and Bills. And I had posted about a week ago that in honor of the NCAA tournament that's coming up in about a month now or so, it's going to be starting. I wanted to do like a 68 team contest, basically with fans voting, and doing different matchups using all the Super Bowl winners and then picking about 9 other teams that didn't win the Super Bowl. And, a bunch of people threw in their suggestions as to what teams, what the 9 teams should be that did not, that never won a Super Bowl, but that should be in this particular tournament. So basically the best 9 that didn't win it is what I'm looking for. Could you make an argument? Because I did see a list, and I believe it might have been, I want to give credit where it's due. I think the site was fans. It was either fan cited or fan rant or something like that. Sports rant. I'll have to look it up again. I did mark it, but there was a site that I found that gave the list of what they felt were the top 10 fan voted teams that were the best to not win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. There were a couple, and I expected to see pretty much every team on that list be a team that lost in the Super Bowl, like the Bills in the 1990 Bills when they lost by 1 point there to the Giants and that kind of thing. But I was surprised to see a few teams that actually lost in the divisional round, but they had such a dominant regular season. Could you make an argument, especially before they had all the injuries that hit their defense, that Detroit could have maybe been in that category? Would you have looked at them and said, they could be one of the best 9 teams to not win a Super Bowl?
They put up on average over 30 points a game.
Yep.
That is one of the most prolific offenses we have seen in recent memory. Oh, and now you're going to have Aiden Hutchinson back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, a somewhat improved Terrion Arnold, who was a rookie this year. You have a first round. You never traded it. You have an opportunity to maybe go trade for Myles Garrett. I mean, why that? We can get into that later, but just imagine Myles Garrett on one side and Aiden Hutchinson on the other.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Something like that happened before.
To anybody trying to stop them.
Something like that happened before with the Chargers, and they got stopped fairly easily.
Oh, that was Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the firepower of Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett. But still, like, you have that defense. Look, we saw what a difference having Anzalone back in the final week of the season did for that team. They kept Minnesota to 6 points?
Yeah.
9, I believe. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, but it was regardless, sub 10 points. And he helped lead the defense. Malcolm Rodriguez injured. Phenomenal rookie year last year, injured this year. Anzalone injured. Jack Campbell did a lot of nothing. This team was without strong linebackers. They knew their secondary needed to improve, and a dominant defensive line. This team, over 30 points on offense, gave that defense every opportunity to stay healthy off the field. They couldn't do it next year. You're going to have, whether it's a Trey Amos, whether it's a Siobhan Ravel, whoever you're going to have the opportunity to take at the end of the first round should be a cornerback. You pair him with Terry and Arnold. Maybe in the end of the second, you can find a edge rusher. This draft coming up for the Lions, you have your opportunity to get some corners. You got plenty of defensive ends. You don't need a running back. Like, this is a season where if you wanted to go make a move for somebody, you can do it. But to answer your question, absolutely, you could put them there purely based on what they did on offense. But if the 2007 Patriots aren't number one on that list, I really don't know what people are doing. The undefeated Patriots,
they'll definitely be number one on
with
that list. It's going to be
touchdowns in a year.
It's going to be fun.
I mean, you put them,
and it's going to be fun
Marino's teams in there.
All the Super Bowl winners.
Yeah, I mean, you put Marino's teams in there.
Yeah,
you could argue maybe some of the Peyton Manning Colts.
Yep. Yeah, there was I believe though, is it the 98 Vikings that a lot of people were talking about that, missed I think that was the Gary Anderson missed field goal. And I mean there's a it's going to be fun and interesting to go through just selecting those 9 teams, let alone trying to do the seeding for the 59 Super Bowl winners. But we'll talk about that every time. But that's I always love doing stuff like that. It's just kind of fun. TJ, how about you? Would you agree that you could make an argument that these Lions? And the reason I bring it up before you answer, the reason I bring it up is because we have this I don't know what the word is for it, but recency bias. When you get into these debates on Facebook and on social media, I mean there's always that you run into that. Recency bias kind of clouding your judgment and that kind of thing. Because to be honest, when I was looking at these past teams I forgot about some of those teams from like the 90s and that kind of thing, because you're so focused on what happened today. So, but would you agree with Adam that you could make an argument that they could be in that list?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I feel like this Lions team shot themselves in the foot, and it should have been the Bills and the Lions, but instead it's the Eagles and the refs. So, it's one of those things where, I'll be honest, as a diehard football fan, as a, retired football player, I'm not really interested in watching the Super Bowl whatsoever. Now, if it was the Lions, dude, I was going to buy some Lions gear and probably smack that on and go run around, the neighborhood screaming. But
TJ, remember I said if the Lions won the Super Bowl, I'd be the New England guy going to get the championship hat and shirt because I'm a Dan Hill fan, and I've become a Lions fan because of what he's done. He and Brad Holmes have done for that organization, and quite frankly, the entire city of Detroit has been nothing short of one of the greatest turnarounds in sports history in a matter of years.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I feel like everybody was jumping on the Lions bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like when things were going truthfully south for a lot of these teams, people were jumping straight to that bandwagon, and I was one of them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted them to win.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders came in and beat them. And I said, okay, shit. Well, I ain't going to root for nobody because I don't like either of these teams going to the championship game. So, I kind of, once that game was done, I was like, all right, football season is done. It's time for hockey now.
Yeah. Well, let's, before we go and do our predictions, Adam kind of brought it up a little bit a minute or two ago about going out and getting certain players in the offseason. What are the chances your Cowboys snag Myles Garrett?
None whatsoever.
Okay, well, you had brought it up. I mean,
so
on the chat in our group chat.
As a joke, I said, that'd be awesome for them to go after Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
He is a Texas native. It would be awesome to see him come back to Texas, but I think that Jerry Jones his head's too far up his own ass.
Yeah.
That he doesn't see the bright side of that situation, and he just sees that Myles Garrett is getting up there in age, so he may not be able to give anything. So he's just going to go into the draft and pick something up, or find somebody on free agency that's a little bit cheaper. But yeah, if Dallas were to even put their stakes into it, you would probably see me freak out. But at this point, the top contenders, I think, as of right now, were the Packers, the Lions, the Commanders. I think New England was in there.
I wouldn't put us in there. I mean, here's the thing, to your point. Cowboys, light rebuild. Patriots, full rebuild. Garrett is 29. He's in his prime. He wants to go win championships. If he wanted to get paid, he'd stay with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if he wanted to get paid, he'd stay there. I think he wants to go win a championship. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Look what we saw with Aaron Donald. Won a championship. I'm done. Thank you. I'm out. Bye. I'm done. Like, I don't know.
Now, my thing is, what if this is a, it's kind of sour for a lot of Ravens fans. And if there are any Ravens fans that watch this, I'm sorry, but the Patrick Queen situation where he goes to the Steelers. So what if Myles Garrett goes to Baltimore? Baltimore needs a new DN because their DN is a free agent this year. And they're champion. No, Owe's still on
his rookie
contract. Yeah, this is his last year. Who's the other guy on the far side? I don't know. I don't like the Ravens. I can't remember.
I'm looking that up.
Yeah, but their other DN, I think, is a free agent this year. So I could see them possibly either trading that guy away. I don't think they would get rid of Odafe Owe whatsoever. But yeah, I could see him going to maybe stay in the same division. Good Lord, stay in the same division.
It's possible. It really is.
I just can't see him going to the Steelers or the Bengals.
Matabuke.
Yeah, Matabuke is definitely gone.
Now, I mean, for what it's worth, they have Adisa Isaac and David Ajabo, who are two decent edge rushers in their own right. But I mean, it's not a Matabuke, right? Like, this is a team that has the backups, but man, that team still needs a corner. Could use another safety or two. I don't know why TJ Tampa is so far down that list. That defense is going to be interesting because I don't know what their cap situation is. But yeah, if you can get Garrett, you see. Here's the thing with Garrett.
I guess
Cleveland's going to ask for at least 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So a team has to be willing to part with at least 2 firsts.
See, and I think that's one of the reasons they were talking about that earlier this week on one of the local talk shows with the Packers, and I think that's one of the reasons why I would love. I mean, granted, Brian Gutekunst has surprised all of us, in the past, not often, but he has when he wants somebody bad enough.
Yeah.
But and they. One of the stations out of the sports station out of Milwaukee, they asked the question from the fans, if you had to give up 2 firsts and a third, would you?
Mm-hmm.
And 60% said no. I said hell yes. And the reason I said hell yes is because, number one, we're always picking near the bottom third of the first round. So it's not. And number two, Brian Gutekunst, for as great of a job, in my opinion, as he has done as a GM, does not have good luck with first round picks, and I was talking to a couple friends of mine. I said, what are we going to do? Are we going to give up a couple of injury plagued offensive linemen? I mean, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Like just go out and do it. My thing is, I either want Max Crosby, and I don't know now with Pete Carroll as their new head coach if he's going to want to leave or if Pete's going to be able to talk him into staying. I know he wanted out for a little bit, and I know Josh Jacobs and him are good friends from when Josh was in Vegas. So that's kind of we have the leg up in that sense, but who knows? Carroll may say, hey, maybe talk him into wanting to give him, another a year or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, there was somebody on social media that said, I think it was just a fan, but he made the comment that if the Packers don't get either Crosby or Myles Garrett this offseason, it's a failure. And I'm not totally in disagreement with that.
Really?
They need to make some moves. They need to bring in. I'm finally on the let's get a wide receiver 1 bandwagon, and I think, to me, even though he's getting older, if Devontae Adams wants to come back, I'll take him back at this point. I'll take him back with open arms. He can teach some of these younger guys some stuff. We don't know when Christian Watson's going to be able to come back, after with his injury and how late in the season that happened. So you know what? They need a wide receiver 1, and they need somebody. It would be great to get some defensive backs too, but you can draft those. But so I mean, there's certain things you could improve in the draft. But
I would say this year's draft
they got to get someone
for that secondary for this year in the draft looks pretty stout. I mean, first to second round is going to be a bunch of great cornerbacks, safeties, whatever you want to throw out there. But I think this year a lot of teams are going to go that way too, of the cornerback route with a lot of these young guns coming out. Now, yeah, there are some quarterbacks, receivers, running backs coming out, and listen to a lot of sports talk, around the Baltimore area. Baltimore is even saying like they have a niche in for Max Crosby, and I can see that.
But see, Crosby's interesting. Would he like a championship? Yes, I think he would like his money contract.
Yes,
sure, absolutely.
So who has the cap space to get him that?
Not
who
a
at
lot
the
of
top?
teams.
The top 3 teams with cap space. So the Patriots, we have the most by $30 million. Then it's the Commanders, and I forget the third. Is it the Bears at 3?
I think it might be
Probably the Bears, yeah.
So of those top 3, I think it's the Commanders that's the most appealing in terms of cap space.
Sure.
But again, you don't know, like if you're Crosby, you go, looks legit, could have been a fluke year. So Crosby's going to want the money. If the Patriots can somehow get Crosby, I'd be astonished. Heck, I would give you draft scenario if Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders are there at 4. A lot of mock drafts I've done, I've just kept trading 4 to the Raiders and then traded back from the Raiders and kept accumulating firsts, seconds, whatever. And we need picks. I'd rather accumulate them next year. But if I can get Max Crosby, I'll give you the 4th for Crosby and the 6th. I don't even want another pick back. And I will immediately sign Crosby 4-year, 80, 85, 90 million. Guarantee him 60 if that's what it takes. What is going to take for Crosby is going to be very different than what's going to take for Garrett. Garrett's a generational talent. I love Crosby. Yeah. I think he's a great player. He's not Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is still a tier above him.
Myles Garrett's a freak.
But here's the thing. This is the draft for running backs, D tackles, defensive linemen, and defensive ends.
And offensive linemen.
And more interior, the way some of these tackles are starting to convert.
So
freaking Zabel.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk this morning on Good Morning Football about that this draft has a lot of interior offensive linemen that are more prone to switching positions. So there's a lot of guards that could be centers that could be guards, but there's no solidified, there's 2 solidified tackles coming out into the draft.
Yeah, Kelvin Banks, and that's it. Because you can argue Will Johnson, because of his arm length guard.
Yep.
That scares me at 4 if Will Campbell's the pick.
And the fact that Calvin Banks is the only tackle, I take it.
Listen, I have zero problem with Kelvin Banks. I think he's the pick, which is why I would take 4, trade back to 6, trade back again, accumulate picks and or players, and start getting more of these second rounders. That top of the second is loaded. I want multiple picks. Trey Amos, Siobhan Ravella going to be the 2 towards the end of that first for corners. But then after that, like your cornerback or safety there is going to be gone somewhere mid to late first. And then you've got the safety that's going to be gone somewhere in the third. But like there's
Barron and
I can't Mabuka or whatever his last name is.
Andrew Makumba.
Yeah, the safety. He'll be gone in the second or third. This the secondary. This isn't a great overall draft class. It really isn't. I mean, if you want to talk about legitimate guards, it's Booker and Ratledge. That's about it. But now you have Zabel, who's going to convert from tackle to either guard or center. We literally saw him play everything at the Senior Bowl and dominate everywhere along the offensive line. The man made himself money. But how did we end up going from the Super Bowl to Myles Garrett?
I don't know.
How did that happen?
Here, it happened
it's
because
also par for course for the show.
He actually, I thought it was if he was coming to Dallas.
And
yeah.
And then that spiraled from there.
And I'll say part of it too is, again, like, I mean, 2 out of, I think all 3 of us have pretty much admitted that we're not going to be like hyper focused on the Super Bowl. So I guess that was why I was kind of like, let's talk a little bit. Well, I was going to segue back into the Super Bowl. So
no, right. But I mean, like, let's
it's
just
a terrible
wrap this up,
segue.
Aaron, I'm really interested to hear both of your takes. Based on just
okay,
I'm just gonna pull up the names here at the top of the PFF mock draft simulator.
Oh boy!
So like 4 defensive tackles, right? Like assuming everyone goes the way it is, just based by edge rushers right now, according to PFF's mock draft tracker, Abdul Carter, potential generational talent, the way he's being talked about. James Pierce Jr. Mixed reviews on him. Mike Green made himself a lot of money and a top 10 pick. Mikael Williams, Shamar Stewart, Jack Sawyer, Donovan Ezaraku, Nick Scorton, Landon Jackson, Princely Umanamilian,
God bless
JT Tumalayu, Kyle Kennard, Jordan Burch, Jared Ivey, David Walker. I'm over 10 defensive ends that could legitimately be game changers for their team. And in that 10, 1 potential generational talent in Abdul Carter.
But here's my thing.
Is that going to be the negotiating tactic from a team that wants Garrett to go, I can give you 1 first, and I will pay Garrett the money, but you're not getting another pick because of how deep this defensive end class is?
So here's where I'm going to say something that it's happened. I mean, and we've seen it before where, let's say a size of a DN go, in the NFL, he gets pushed back to linebacker. I don't see Abdul Carter being an edge rusher anymore. They're going to put him in linebacking. They're going to put him at the linebacking core.
So you think he'll be an outside linebacker? Still going to be an outside pass rusher.
He will be a pass rusher, but he will be an outside linebacker. He's not going to be on the line. He, depending on how the schemes go, he may be that, maybe Will or Jack side linebacker, but I don't see him being an edge rusher for his career unless the team absolutely needs it and they bulk his ass up. But right now, in how I see him and as an offensive lineman coach, he's more of a backer.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2 years he was in college, like 2022, 2023, he played more off ball. But again, you had Chop Robinson, Adisa Isaac, a lot of these other great defensive ends that came before him. This was the year he moved from off ball to outside tackle and exploded. 13 sacks, 10 hits, 43 hurries, and a batted down ball.
Yeah, I think he would have the stature of a outside linebacker. And I get it. He wore the number 11 at Penn State. All the big names that have worn it before: LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons. Micah has been back and forth between DN and linebacker. LeVar Arrington was a linebacker that converted to a DN. So maybe that's what he does, is he goes linebacker later on down his career. Maybe, like I said, he bulks up. Maybe he gets a little slower on the linebacking end, goes to the DN.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I personally would rather have 4 or 5 great years from Myles Garrett than a potential 10-year player, because I can also build up the depth behind Garrett and have Garrett teach some younger talent. I would rather have Myles Garrett 9 times out of 10.
Yes.
But like a team like the Packers, Aaron, for you, right? Like if we just take a look at the picks you guys have, you guys don't trade picks that much.
No.
Really
they love stockpiling picks. I mean, that's their whole MO is to get, let's get 12 or 15 picks, and we could always trade 1 or 2 later on. But I mean, they, that's one of the most impressive things about this GM and his staff is how well they've hit in, say, rounds 4 through 7. I mean, they've hit some big guys, and they would rather get picks than trade them. I would agree with you on that, Adam. I would rather have him, and I guess that's my reasoning for saying yes, I would trade the picks, because here's the thing. They have the Packers offensively, as long as they can stay healthy, which obviously this is football, so that's always the kind of the asterisk is, hey, as long as you can stay healthy. But to me, you have a small window left where you could really make some noise before all of these guys start hitting their free agent years, whether it's Jaden Reed or Romeo Dobbs or Christian Watson, but he might, I don't know. I feel bad for that kid, because he may have cost himself tens of millions of dollars, if he could have, avoided that injury. But so to me, now is the time to start doing this. You're in the playoffs. You've been in the playoffs the last 2 years. There's no reason why you can't go even further next year, but you need some help on defense. And I mean, they need some offensive line help too. And that's the kind of stuff you can get in the draft. You can't necessarily get a Myles Garrett in this draft, even if you have some of the guys that you were talking about who, some of the experts are saying one, could be a generational player. They could be major impact, but that's all fine and good. But the Packers' luck, and I'm speaking strictly from a Packers standpoint, the Packers' luck hasn't been good in the first round. So why the hell not give those up? And, the only thing that would suck is that the fact is you have the draft in Green Bay this year, and all of a sudden, like, hey, we're going to trade away our picks, and, Packers won't even, not that
I don't think, but I don't think that's going to matter. If you guys get a Myles Garrett,
right.
No. Like, this is also one of the things I love and somewhat dislike about the PFF mock draft simulator trade tool.
Yeah.
I can get Myles Garrett for the 23 pick and a first, the 26 first. I could get it for a 23 and a second. I could get it for a 23 and a 27 first, the 23 and the 27 second. Like, there were so many ways the Packers could do it.
Yeah.
But it's still 2 first-round players, but you add him to an emerging Lucas Van Ness, Edgerrin Cooper locking down at linebacker. You could still have Quay Walker back there as well. It's really interesting, and it definitely addresses a need you guys have.
Yeah, we definitely have the need. What's interesting, though, is you say an emerging Lucas Van Ness. They haven't been really impressed with Van Ness at all. And yeah, I mean,
so see if you can trade Van Ness and 1 first.
Yeah,
and it would be a 26
like
first, because Cleveland's going to be a team that's going to be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I would, like I said, I would be ecstatic if they could get Myles Garrett. One of the things that's disappointed me about this team in the past is that I feel like they're always in the conversation for these big guys, and they never end up, making that extra step that they need to get them, and that always kind of sucks. And then you see them end up going to Detroit or Minnesota or whatever, and you're like, you got to be kidding me, So hopefully that changes. But here, let's do our okay. I want to do just our predictions for the Super Bowl.
No.
And okay, fine, we'll move on.
Excellent.
And then I did want to do. I had about 10 questions, a little Super Bowl trivia, and then we'll move on because it is a little bit lighter. I do want to touch on a couple of the NBA trades, and then did you two both? I mean, I know TJ did because I saw the comments. Did you, Adam, watch the Royal Rumble? Okay, so I figured you two could both talk about that. I know that's even though I don't follow wrestling like you guys do, I do know enough to know that that's a big deal.
Say his name and he appears, TJ. Second loudest pop of the night.
My wife thought he was an ex-boy band.
Nice.
I love it.
So let's see. I'll pull it up here. Excuse me. We got 1.5 for Kansas City, over under 49.5. And I pulled up ESPN, so they have their football power index thing. 56.2% are picking Philly to win, actually, against the spread. So, or they're picking Philly against the spread. I don't know if that means to win outright or just to not lose by 1.5. But Adam, why don't you give your picks here? What are your thoughts on the game? Anything stand out to you, and who are you predicting?
All right. So for me, it's going to be a fun game. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl 27-24. It will come down to a field goal, and Kansas City will not be able to stop Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and the rest of that secondary with the cobbled together wide receivers that they have left. Philly on both sides of the ball. Jake Elliott on special teams. They are the best team on paper. They are the best balanced team in football. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
All right. So you're taking the over, obviously.
I'm
27-24.
27-24, slightly over. The over is not something I am looking to bet with any kind of confidence this weekend. None. I'm leaving that 49.5 line alone.
Okay. TJ, what about you?
Leave it alone.
Well, I have the script from last week still.
TJ, bring out the script. Bring it out. Let's go.
That involves me walking away. I can't. So on the script, it says that Kansas City will be up at halftime, and then from the third quarter on, the Eagles are just going to give them straight belt to ass. That's per script. That's not me. So per script.
Belt to ass.
It also says that Saquon's scoring 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right.
So with that script being said and all that, I'm gonna go 27-21 with the Eagles winning this one and Taylor Swift crying, and they break up after this.
Well, they break up. Wow, that's bold. Yeah. That's a bold. Now, if they win, does he get on a knee?
He proposes.
Okay, all right.
Be like, Travis Kelce, you won the Super Bowl. What are you doing? Oh, I'm getting Taylor Swift knocked up and going to Disney World.
Going to Disneyland.
Okay, so here's my prediction, and I'm going with my heart on this. I'm not with my head, because my head tells me that Kansas City. I mean, did you hear? I heard this morning that apparently. And now, okay, this is the conspiracy theorist in me coming out. I'm going to put on my conspiracy theorist hat.
Oh, boy.
Apparently the NFL came out and said that they've made arrangements already with Pat Riley to be allowed to use the word three, because, he has that trademarked, that three-peat.
Yeah.
And that the NFL has already made arrangements or made some kind of a contract with him to be able to use that for T-shirts. Now, do either of you know? I always thought that was a team thing. Like, that wasn't the NFL that did those shirts. It was each team. I could be wrong.
It was the NFL that does them. It's not.
It is the NFL. Okay. All right. So maybe. Okay.
NFL.
All right. So I'll give them a break on that. But by the way, real quick before I give my prediction, I heard this morning because they were talking about that whole thing that how Pat Riley trademarked the three-peat when he was coaching the Lakers. And apparently they were saying he made, because then they started going back into all the different sports, like if any teams ever three-peated since he did that. And apparently they said when the Jordan and Pippen and the Bulls three-peated the first time, Pat Riley made $320 million on that deal.
Damn.
And when they three-peated the second time, he made $680 million on that deal. So even though his Lakers weren't winning, he was still making money. I mean, that's pretty damn smart right there. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. And anyway, so my prediction, and I've said this before, I will stand by this. If Philadelphia wants to win, they are going to have to, I think, just completely smoke Kansas City. I really do believe that if it's a close game, there's going to be a way that Kansas City ends up winning this. So I'm predicting 38-20 Philadelphia.
Okay.
I think Saquon Barkley smokes these guys. That's one of the things that they were talking about. And I didn't watch because I can't remember what the hell I was doing. I think I was trying to get my son to sleep during the AFC Championship game. So I didn't see the entire thing. But if I remember correctly, even though, Kansas City's defense is great, they didn't have the best time stopping the Buffalo Bills on the ground.
Nope.
And if you can't stop the Buffalo Bills, no disrespect to them. They're, Josh Allen's a great runner. Is it James Cook that they have for their running back, if I'm not mistaken? Yep. He does a fantastic job. They're no Saquon Barkley. Even together, they're no Saquon Barkley. No. And Jalen Hurts can hurt you if he has to. So I don't see these guys. Now, Eagle Nation, please don't come with pitchforks and, torches to my house.
No, they're just going to start making fun of you cheeseheads. That's all they do.
Yeah.
And they'll start calling you harsh names, and then, everything just happens.
Exactly.
Eagles fans, they take everything with a fucking grain of salt.
See, and so anyway, I hope it's a blowout. I would absolutely love to see the Eagles just completely smoke them. I would enjoy that more than anything in the world. And so I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the Eagles plus or minus the 1.5. All right, so now let's do a little quick trivia. We're gonna go through this quick because I did mention we'll try to keep this a shorter, not a 2-hour episode tonight. But I have some questions here. I want to test you guys in your knowledge of the Super Bowl overall, not just these two teams or anything like that.
All right, let's also remember I'm only 30 years old. I don't know that much.
Okay, well, some of these you might know just from seeing highlights of the past, TJ.
Okay,
I know you're a football guy. Okay, so where was the first Super Bowl played?
Was it? Oh.
It wasn't Kansas City, was it?
Nope.
Was it Miami?
No, that was, I believe, Super Bowl II. Super Bowl I was in Los Angeles. That was Super Bowl.
That was going to be my next guess, but I knew it was somewhere warm.
Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. This is an interesting one. I did not know this one. What was the first wild card team to win a Super Bowl?
The Ravens, 2011.
Yeah, nope. I was going to say the Ravens.
It was an AFC team. I'll give you that.
So it's not the Ravens.
Was it the Patriots?
No, it was the Raiders. I do not know. Oh. It doesn't have like what year it was that they won that, but it was the Raiders. Okay, which teams have the most Super Bowl wins?
No, that's the Patriots and
49ers and the Patriots, 49ers, Steelers, and Cowboys.
See, this
those are the top four, but the Patriots have 6.
Yeah. There's one other team that has 6.
It's the Steelers that have 6.
Yes, exactly. Patriots and Steelers. Okay. What current teams have never made it to the Super Bowl? There's 4 on this list.
Lions.
The Lions.
Vikings.
No, I thought they've been in it.
Have they?
Yep.
Like back in the day.
The Browns. Browns
Yep.
haven't got that.
Browns.
Lions, Browns, 2 more.
Texans,
Yep.
Yeah.
because they're, if you consider them, because they're a newer team.
And Jacksonville.
I was going to say
There you go.
Jacksonville, yeah.
4. There's the 4 of them. All right. Next one. There's 10 of them here. So number 5. Who is the MVP of Super Bowl I?
Bart Starr.
I was just saying
There
Bart
you go.
Starr.
Yep. Who scored the first touchdown in the first Super Bowl?
Bart Starr.
He threw it. Who caught it?
I don't know.
Joe Lombardi.
No, Max McGee. Max McGee.
Okay, yeah.
And well, the Max McGee, their tight end. The funny story about that was all year he caught 4 passes. That game alone, he caught 7. And the only reason he played, he was hungover as shit. If you hear some of those stories, they are awesome. He was so fucking hungover. And Lombardi yelled at him because their tight end got injured. I can't remember what their name of the tight end was, the starter. So he had to go in, and he made some spectacular catches that you would have thought this dude was like the modern day, like, catching on his helmet. He didn't catch one on his helmet, but he was bobbling some, and I don't know if he was bobbling them because he was so hungover that he couldn't see straight or what. But he had a pretty damn good game for someone who was hungover and only caught 4 passes all year, or 4 passes all year. All right, so what is the most popular food eaten on Super Bowl Sunday? This one should be
Buffalo
easy.
wings. Chicken
Buffalo wings.
Yep, chicken wings. There you go. Yep. Okay, let's see. Another one.
That was a fat man question. That's not a Super Bowl question.
Which players have the most career fumbles in a Super Bowl? 2 quarterbacks.
Cam Newton.
Nope.
Damn.
Most career. So they gotta, you gotta think there's quite a few.
They
They played in quite a few.
Steve Young and Troy Aikman.
No.
Damn. Playing quite a few. Is Jim Kelly one of them?
He did have 4.
No, he is not.
Wow. Okay,
One is more modern. I mean, one is definitely modern, and the other one is
You're not going to tell me it's Brady.
Is it like Peyton Manning?
no.
No, Peyton's been the 2.
Mr. Adam got the first one there.
Is it really
It
Brady?
is Tom Brady, and then the other one, I'll give you a hint. The other one played for Dallas. A legend.
Roger Staubach.
Staubach.
Yep.
Staubach.
Staubach. Yep. There you go. So,
He just put that one in there for me and you because we're both.
okay. Which 2 more questions here. Who performed during the Super Bowl 30? I gotta do some Roman numerals here. Shit. 36 halftime show. This is a band that, frankly, I can't stand. I think they're completely overrated, but they are a band that is loved worldwide. I'll give you one more hint. Their lead singer is like a major activist, like climate change.
Bono.
guy.
Was it U2?
Yes, U2. Yep.
Oh,
There you
U2.
go. Yeah. And then last question. Which starting quarterbacks are the only ones to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yep.
Joe Montana.
Nope.
No, he never got to Kansas City. Is it Steve Young?
Nope.
So I know.
No.
Peyton. No, Peyton Manning never got one with the Colts.
Yeah, he did.
He did get. Oh, it was 2007.
Yeah.
No.
They beat the Bears.
What year was it? 2008.
I think it might have been 2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 was the Patriots' undefeated team.
Yeah, I think it might have
18
been
and 1.
2008.
Okay, so yeah, Peyton Manning. So Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yep, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. That's correct. Okay. All right, now here, my wife needs me upstairs for something real quick. So why don't you 2 start talking about the Royal Rumble?
Oh boy.
And because I'm
This show is going to go 3 hours now.
just, go ahead. It's lighter. I mean, other than the NBA trades, this is about it. We're finishing up the show. So go for it.
As literally another trade just went through. But okay. So DJ, the Rumble was awesome.
I will say this. I was very happy with the Rumble. I felt like even if this was, a lot of people don't really watch the shows.
Mm-hmm.
They don't watch the Monday or the Fridays or NXTs, but you just watch the pay-per-views. I think this was the best pay-per-view to watch.
Mhm.
Starting off, the women's Royal Rumble. Love how it starts it off because I always feel like that is the best way to start it because there's always going to be a good pop in the women's Royal Rumble.
Who were the
I
first
would,
two again? I know Roxanne Perez was 3. Oh, Io
Liv,
Sky was 1. Io Sky
Liv
1.
Morgan.
Liv Morgan 2. Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Roxanne Perez came out at 3. Now I will
Yep.
say, going through the list of all the participants, it almost resembled last year's. A lot of the same names, but there were some NXT girls that came in that I was very excited to see what the main roster to see how they would perform.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Grace back, and now she's officially WWE. She's not TNA anymore, so that
new look, new gear, everything.
Dude,
Yep.
she's a freak. Oh my god!
Mhm.
Like if she's coming down the ring, get out her way. She will mess
Pretty
you
much.
up.
There was one entrant in the women's Rumble I didn't understand.
Which one was that?
Legend anywhere near the Rumble.
I don't know. I was trying to figure the same thing because when she came out, the first thing I thought of was why.
Exactly. Like, made no sense.
Because there were a lot of other people I would have loved to see instead of her coming out, but hey, Triple H knows something we don't.
I mean, again, like if you're getting in the Rumble, they think highly of you.
Yes,
put it that way. Clearly, we can see what they think of Roxanne. Enters a 3 and is in the final 2.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing too.
Massive.
And with all the names that came out for the Women's Royal Rumble, I mean, I think, of course, the weekend, the biggest pop was Alexa Bliss.
Easy. I popped. First time in 2 years.
I'm pretty sure
she's been back in a WWE ring.
When her music came on, I was sitting down. I think my wife was downstairs. I jumped up and I swear, dude, I put a hole in my floor. I was so excited to see her.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. It was good to see her back. It was.
Yep.
She looks great. She looks like she's ready to go back.
Yep. You can tell, like, she just looked like she's okay. Because, again, she was, I believe, injured.
Yes. And she had a baby.
Became a mother, which is awesome. Had the time to raise the baby.
Yep.
She got married. And, again, like, no one ever had a bad thing to say about her. It was like, okay, please, by all means. All of us were like, during the pandemic, it's like Becky leaving to become a mother, like, could not be happier for her. Like, you've busted your ass. Please go take your time off. Like, there's a lot of respect from wrestling fans. Again, we're people. By all means, go do it. We've seen the updates and everything else. Also, her gear
was awesome.
Fiend,
the Fiend forever, but then it was Friend forever.
Yep. Beautiful tribute to Bray. Because this is the first time she's been back in the WWE on TV.
Yep.
Since Bray's passing.
Yep.
Since Bray's passing, and that was a beautiful tribute. Obviously they had to be really close friends considering everything they did together. And I'm really happy for her. I think everyone was, as soon as 30 hit, we're like, okay, who's left? And then it was Nikki. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise. One of the ones that I was actually a little upset because there were a lot of like teasers on X the day of the Royal Rumble was Becky Lynch was going to come back. They said Becky was coming back. I was waiting for that. Did not happen.
I'm like, 30, okay, Becky. Nikki
comes out. And I'm like,
so she's not ready to come back then?
She's not. And apparently, so I guess after the Rumble, she was seen back in, I believe, Ireland with family and friends. So there may have been, I think there was a family emergency that she had to take care of, but they do say that she should be back either Elimination Chamber or she'll be back at WrestleMania after Charlotte Flair wrestles whoever she is.
And see, Charlotte's interesting because she was on NXT. She's did everything she did the last time she won the Rumble. She went like, okay, I can challenge whatever champion I want. And she went and challenged Rhea. Now, I think we all think it's going to be Charlotte and Rhea again.
I don't.
Do you really think it's going to be Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton?
I do. Only reason why is because Tiffany has... So, per WWE on Twitter, I don't know if you saw this, Ludwig Kaiser just got fired. They canned Ludwig Kaiser because he did not sell that arm breaker that Penta gave him on Monday. So, and there's also been a lot of lash about him in the locker room being really, really toxic, stuff like that. He's going to be gone, I guarantee you, because him and Tiffany Stratton, yes, he leaves. It's going to be the same thing as Ricochet. When Ricochet left, Samantha left with him. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to go to AEW. She's going to lose the title to Charlotte, and then she's going to go to AEW.
No, Kaiser is never been anything super special.
Nope.
I mean, so for people that don't know, okay, we spoiled it. Charlotte won the Women's Rumble.
Yes.
Also, I want to get to the new ticker that they had this year, which I thought was freaking amazing. But Kaiser and Stratton have actually been dating for 2 years. They've been a couple for over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany has got too much star power to leave WWE. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
AEW cannot make her into the star that WWE can. With all due respect to AEW, and everyone knows I'm an AEW fan, and I'm one of the biggest, I will also critic them. But at the same time, I think it's Charlotte Rhea. If it's Charlotte and Stratton, Stratton needs to go over. If she loses to Charlotte, then maybe she ends up leaving the WWE at some point.
Well, so the way I see it, and this is kind of this is a little bit off of Monday night. I think Io Sky is going to come after Rhea now, and she's going to get that number 1 contenders match.
So she'd have to win the chamber.
And I think there's a way. I think they're going to do something about that because I have a feeling Rhea is going to put a name in there and possibly get her like a last ditch effort type of deal to put her in. But I see that because that's a storyline right there that I would love to see. Io Sky versus Rhea.
I don't think we've seen that before, have we?
We have not.
That would be fire.
I would pay, even though I get it on Peacock already, I would pay big bank to watch that for WrestleMania.
That's a marquee match. That would be fire. Those two in-ring technicians would be amazing to see. That could headline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, again, with that being said, what did you think of the Royal Rumble ticker? I thought that thing was
was cool.
And added a awesome sports-like feel. They're throwing stats up different times. I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
So what I thought was really cool was it kept you up to date. So like if you went to go take a piss and you missed something, it was at the bottom saying like, this person was eliminated. And you're like, oh, I literally peed.
And the cool graphic was like eliminated. We're like,
yep.
That is so cool.
And I love how it gave the times for everybody, how long they were in.
Yes.
So like
and that was something to both Rumbles that they both kept of anything they did, they kept coming back to some of these longer range timers, which was phenomenal.
I truly enjoyed that one. Now I will say, yes, we did ruin it. Charlotte Flair did win. The match that I really thought was really stupid was that tag team match, the 2 out of 3.
Didn't watch
with
it.
DIY Motor City Machine Guns.
Yep.
No.
A match with those two teams that should light things up. But again, this isn't vintage Motor City Machine Guns either.
Well, you know what I did when that match came on? I watched the first pinfall. I said, okay, cool. DIY's got this. I think I went downstairs, helped my wife make food. And we made nachos and everything. We went all out for a Rumble.
I like it.
And I came back and it was 1-1. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to go. And then all this shit happens, distraction, stuff like that. I'm like, this is so stupid. I hated that match.
Yeah, I think that was, I saw the Street Profits at the end. It's their heel turn. Whatever. Like, I skipped that. I skipped whatever the other matches on there were. I watched the WWE Championship match.
I think that was the only match after that.
Oh, there was something in between, but that was brutal. The power bomb onto the ladder, and then the Alabama slam.
The Alabama slam through the ladder.
Was brutal.
So it's kind of funny. So we know Combs was there, so I wonder what his reaction was to that, seeing it live. I actually had a buddy as well that was there, and he was telling me that when the camera, like when everything went off before they got set up for the Men's Royal Rumble, they actually had a gurney out there because they thought Kevin snapped his neck. I mean, completely, he was lifeless for a good 5 minutes. He actually knocked himself out. He was legitly knocked out. He came out Monday. He beat the every living shit out of Sami Zayn, which I see that being something very fun to watch on Monday now.
Mm-hmm. KO versus Sami Zayn at Mania is going to be amazing. Again. So, yeah. Didn't we just see that a couple of years ago?
Yeah. So, that match was definitely, that was rough.
Yeah.
I think all of us like winced and oohed and ahhed and, at some of the moves.
Medic!
I think I was like, you know what, we'll send them ice. Get the address and we'll send them ice for
pretty
them.
Much. All right, so I don't want to take too much more time up here, but let's wrap our thoughts up there because the Men's Rumble had
it sucked.
Chef's kiss.
Really?
How it started. Oh my goodness! You start with Ray and one, and Penta 2.
I love that. That was awesome.
That's beautiful. I like. Yes, thank you.
I love that, and it's funny too because my wife she's never seen Lucha Libre ever. This is the first time she's seen it, and I said, these are two of the best Lucha Libres you will ever have in a ring. I said, it's fun. And she watched it all the way up until when Joe Hendry came out, and she said he looked like a boy band, a failed boy band member.
Jeez. Yeah, he got
but that was a good second pop.
The second loudest of the night.
Yep.
I don't think, it was close between him and Bliss, but just Bliss was special because we knew she was coming back. Was she actually ready to come back? So yeah, I think that's really cool. And then 23, 24, 25, whatever the three numbers was. Punk, Rollins, and there was somebody else that had to stand off in the ring, and I'm like, there you go.
Was it McIntyre?
No, it was. Who else was it? Hang on, because I've been rewatching the pops because I can. Reigns, McIntyre. It might have been Cena.
Yes,
but it's just like you had those in the ring and just outstandingly amazing. Jey Uso coming out at 20, the return of AJ Styles with his debut WWE theme. I lost it. I was excited to see him back. One of my all-time favorites.
That caught me by surprise. Massively caught me by surprise. Was not seeing that coming. I will tell you, they wasted a 30 spot on Logan Paul. Logan Paul needs to get out of the WWE. Did you hear what the guy said to him on Netflix, by the way?
What?
Did you hear? So there was somebody in the audience because he came out there to watch. I forgot what match he was watching. He was watching the match on Monday night. And some guy started chirping him and was saying, like, oh, you're not fit for the WWE. He's like, you're not even fit for your wife. The only reason why she, loved you and this, that, whatever was because of your money. And, he was chirping back at him. And then he brought his kid into it. And he literally stood up, went off script and said, that was beyond fucked up. He goes, you're lucky I don't kick your ass right now. And they caught that all on live camera. And Pat McAfee was like, wow. He literally just said, wow, Logan Paul's getting into it.
Yeah, you don't do that with him. But yeah, I was like, okay, is it Lesnar? Are they really going to bring Lesnar back with the allegations that came out before? And like
yeah.
But I was legitimately like, who else are we missing at third? Like, who are we missing here at 30? And then Paul, I'm like, underwhelming 30s this year a little bit. I mean, Nikki's was a lot better than Logan Paul.
So the one that I was really upset with, and I pointed this out in the group chat, was Big E had his leotard underneath his uniform, underneath his suit.
Did he really?
I pointed that out. He had it on, and I was like, "Oh, he's coming back."
That'd be nice.
I did not see him. I was really upset. Now,
and they had no members of the New Day there either.
Nope. And Kofi's normally in that doing some spectacular like handstand across the plate.
He said as much on Monday. Like when you think Rumble, you think Kofi crazy spots, but
yeah.
Either way, the final two in that sequence, amazing. I thought it was Cena all the way. I said it was Cena. He was my original pick. And then to see the ending of that, the way it went down was just a great way.
It was a great way. Yes. And I will say it brought back a lot of memories with Cena and Triple H. Because when Cena came back at Madison Square Garden, him and Triple H were going after it. And that was the thing. Yep, that was the thing. Him and Triple H. Triple H was, coming back off of his surgery, so he was gaining a lot of momentum. Look at Jey Uso. Jey Uso's getting a ton of momentum.
Yep, Jey Uso,
won it, and it was
25 Men's Royal Rumble winner.
And I tell you what, I will say this right now: we all know that he's probably going after Gunther.
Yep.
I will say this: as much as I would love to see Jey Uso after he main events winning that title, I don't think they're going to have that. The only reason why I say that is because if Gunther loses, he would go straight after the championship of Cody Rhodes. Let's just put it that way. I don't think that'd be I would love for Cody Rhodes to lose the title. I'm getting kind of bored, just like how I got bored after Roman Reigns had it for so long. Cody's not very enthusiastic with it. Give me somebody who is main-faced, who is on it every week. I think Gunther versus Cody Rhodes would be fun, but again, we have to see. At the same time, Jey Uso won the Rumble. We are still yeeting. We are yeeting here in Maryland. We are yeeting still in Indianapolis. And we will yeet all the way to WrestleMania.
I popped hard when he won. I can't believe they did. Okay, this is giving Jay his moment. He's had a great run. Cena's going to Mania. Cody versus Cena. It's clearly written on the walls to me. It's just plain as day.
Yep.
He's going after 17. And just the way when he got back on the room and pushed Cena off, and the way Cena landed, and the way the camera was right there, perfect angle to catch Cena, and then the way Jay looked like, oh shit, we actually went through with it. So it was amazing, and I don't know if you saw it because this really wasn't advertised that hard, but as soon as the Rumble was over, do whatever, go home. Jay's walking back with I think it's his son.
Yeah.
Who's standing literally right behind that entranceway?
Oh, Jacob Fatu.
Jimmy with the shirt.
Oh, with the shirt.
Puts Jacob's the second person.
Yep.
Breaks heel character, and is just so happy. Both of his brothers are there celebrating.
Did you hear? When was it?
Because Jacob is the brother of the Usos, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No.
Is it a cousin?
Jacob Fatu is a cousin. The brother is Solo.
Oh, Solo's the brother.
Yes.
Right.
So Rikishi was
Solo's the younger brother. That's right.
Yes. Rikishi was supposed to be at the Rumble. He missed his flight because he was at like I think he was doing something at a convention for WWE.
Yeah, there was a bunch of wrestlers. There was videos over the weekend, people getting autographs and whatnot. Joe Hendry was there, Rikishi was there. There was a bunch of legends there.
And they said Rikishi went to the bar. They had Rumble, like he paid the guy to put the Rumble on. He literally bought the bar shots after his son won, and he like they even said like he was crying, everything like that. I'll be honest, if that was my son, I ain't buying shots, dude. I'm buying food. Everybody's getting fat that night.
No, I'm so happy for Jay. I was eating in my seat. The flow probably was going up and down. I'm so happy for him. And the biggest criticism, and we'll let Aaron back here on his show here shortly, is the biggest criticism I've seen is we've seen Jay Gunther at Saturday night's main event, and people are saying they just wasted it. And I'm thinking, what is there to waste?
There wasn't.
Jay has lost to Gunther twice for the world title. You could add a stipulation in where you never get to be a singles wrestler again. You can do whatever you want to spice this up. You'd be like, I don't care that I've lost to you twice. I just won the Royal Rumble. By the way, you won in it. I'm coming after your title, and I'm winning it this time. You can do so much storytelling. Also, if Gunther loses, I think he takes a couple of months off. I agree. Especially after his IC title run, after the world title run, which I honestly think has been a little lackluster because he has had like legitimately no opponents for that thing. Same thing with Cody. No opponents for the WWE Championship outside of Kevin Owens. They have not done a good job of building up these other main event talents at all to really try making it seem like he's got a shot. Like what was just announced. Okada versus Buddy Matthews at Grand Slam Australia. And I'm like, he's got a shot if they wanted to pull the trigger. AEW can at least do that. WWE hasn't done that a lot at all. And there was a good chance Cena does dethrone Cody at Mania. There was a good chance, especially after that promo he did to further the storyline go into Cody at the press conference.
Yep.
And he said, you know what? I've always been, and I'm paraphrasing, I've always been the guy that'll be there, put someone over, do what needs to be done. It's best for business. What's best for business now is me winning my 17th championship. Just declares himself. He goes, I've done so much for this company. I'm not doing a qualifier. I'm declaring for the Elimination Chamber because I've done so much for this company. I'm doing it. And I like this determined Cena in the final year of his career. That may be a lure to try to bring some of those late 2000s, 2010s wrestling fans back into the new product with the legitimate pissed off Cena and people want Cody to turn out. Cody's not turning heel.
No.
He's the biggest babyface in the freaking company. He's not turning heel. You legitimately have no mega heels right now. And I don't think Cody is the greatest heel either. If you had MJF, that's okay. He's your biggest heel in the company immediately.
Yep.
But I have no idea. I think the Roman, Seth, Punk, Triple Threat, and Mania is going to be fire. That Triple Threat is going to be amazing.
100%. And I'm excited for that one.
Mania is setting up to be really good. I'm so happy Jay won the Rumble. Yeet. But
did you catch the clue of what CM Punk Paul Heyman's favor is?
No, what is the favor?
Your boy's coming back, Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania.
Geez. Again, he's not my boy. I don't know if they're going to do that. But, like, to me, he was 30. He would have been the surprise. Did the allegations derail it? Yes. This isn't Vince's WWE. Triple H ain't going to put up with that bullshit. So, I don't even know if the allegations were they had something to do with Vince. It could have been, who knows. I did my best to not look into it, but
I look past it to stay a fan of WWE because if you look too far into it, you're going to leave it.
Mr. Aaron, welcome back
Papa
to the
Bacon.
sports.
Put my microphone back down. There we go.
Should we talk about all the ridiculous NBA trades that have happened
Well, you
today and over the last week?
Yeah. First of all, I always enjoy listening to you. You know, like I said, I wish I was into it as much as all you guys are. I
There's
remember
no better time than leading up to AEW Grand Slam and Revolution.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I know. And some of my best memories were like my fondest memories with some of my buddies was sitting there playing wrestling video games, like on the Nintendo 64 and all that other kind of stuff. So
if you don't follow it for the main event matches, you follow it for the girls. We are getting some good content now on Netflix where there's some booty cheeks in the camera.
It's probably the only reason why they went to Netflix, so they can make it a little racier. But
they also decided to go compete with AEW in terms of the PG-13 swearing and being a little edgier.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And there's a lot of people. I will not put names out there, but I read something that somebody wants to get this almost a TVMA version. I'm so in for it. Let it happen. I want the cussing. I want the blood. Do I want to see a wardrobe malfunction? Of course I do. But you know what? This is not going to happen because it's also a kid's show.
You got
well,
that right.
I mean, you could always make it an adult show. I mean, you can.
TJ just gave us
really
a great segue talking about kid shows. How about the kid GM in Dallas that decided to act like a freaking child? How do you not get multiple first-round picks for Luka Doncic plus Davis?
Because he was Big Mac.
I give you Luka Doncic. You give me everyone on the Lakers.
Because he's Big Mac.
I want Austin Reeves. I want Anthony Davis. I want 3 first-round picks.
See, what's interesting about this, and for all the crap that people are talking about, conspiracy theories in the NFL, the NBA is the best when it comes to that kind of stuff because this trade put all the conspiracy theorists in the NBA into overdrive. And I'm not. I say conspiracy theorists, but
I haven't heard
like everyone says.
I haven't heard one conspiracy theorist say anything about this other than today. I think it was either in our chat or was in a Discord. I haven't heard any conspiracy theorists. I've just heard people bash the shit out of the Dallas GM. I've bashed the shit out of the Dallas GM.
Oh no!
One of my friends is like, "You trade Luka for 10 first-round picks."
They were talking about it. They were talking about it on Sunday and about how. It's amazing how when the Lakers are about to lose, like a legend is about to retire, they always seem to get something that happens that someone else comes along to just kind of keep, carrying along. And in this particular case, they were talking about the fact that you have LeBron, who's probably got, maybe if he wants to play a couple more years, he can, but he doesn't, he can really retire anytime. And if that was the case, all you'd have is Anthony Davis leading the Lakers. And he's getting old. He's injury prone, all that. I mean, in fact, he missed his debut with the Mavericks because of an injury. I can't remember what the injury was, but
Anthony Davis injury.
Yeah. It's shocking. But yeah, all the talk was that the league somehow orchestrated this so that they could put, a future Hall of Famer, because Luka probably will be. I mean, for everyone that rips on Luka and says he's out of shape or that he's overrated, and I've heard a lot of people say that too, the guy has still accomplished a ton, before the age of 26.
He's a Big Mac.
Eat a cheeseburger. Leave him alone. He's
a Big Mac.
Excuse me. He is a freaking generational talent. He is the LeBron James of this era. It is LeBron, Gap, Luka, period.
I will say this, though. The stars are not big and bright in Texas right now because everybody is crying. And there's nothing to look forward to in Texas sports anymore.
Jeez, I'll be right back.
Well, and I guess the one thing that I would question, and I've heard a few people talk about this too, is according to Luka, I mean, he had no idea that this was going to happen. So obviously
Jason
the
Kidd.
team had
Jason Kidd didn't even know about it.
Yeah, none of them knew about it. So are you telling me that if you really want to get rid of him, like, why don't you shop this guy around? And according to reports I heard, there was one other team that was not named that the Mavericks actually called and said, "Hey, we want to trade Luka. This is what, are you interested? This is what we would want from you." And they were like, "No." So of course the rumors then the rumors started around here that it was maybe they called the Bucks and said, "Hey, we'll trade him straight up for Giannis," and the Bucks were like, "Yeah, no, we're good." But
I think it was because there have been multiple teams that have been named for it. So I think it was like Golden State was one of them, Boston was one of them, and
yeah,
I think maybe Houston might have been there because Luka has a massive compound in Texas. So now he's got to move all of his stuff over to LA.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Luka's not worth it, because Luka's definitely worth it. I mean, I remember like when I was massive into the trading card, looking for a Luka rookie was like the biggest thing.
Oh yeah.
And now that he's gone, it spiked in value. But I'll say this right now, and it's there's hate for a lot of teams, but I will say this, for as little NBA that I've watched, in my older times, I should say, because when I was younger, I watched it all the time.
Yeah.
I, without a doubt, hate the Lakers. And it's not because of LeBron. It's not because of who they have on that team.
Yeah.
It's the fact that your favorite player, no matter who it will be, will go to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Unless that team that is a franchise player, which Luka was, it's either the Lakers or your career's done. And I hate it. I mean, I loved watching Kobe play when I was younger, Shaq, all those guys, Ron Artest. It's just nowadays they're just like the Dodgers.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Wherever this money's coming from, I would love to know. I'd love to have some in my back pocket too.
Yeah.
I mean, I get really upset because it sucks, because there's a lot of kids who are like, "Oh, I like the Mavericks because of Luka, and I hate the Lakers." Well, now Luka's with the Lakers, and they're like, "I don't want to watch basketball anymore." And that's going to lose a lot of fans. I'll be honest, that's probably going to lose a lot of viewership, is because of this trade, because a lot of little kids loved watching Luka, loved, who he was.
Yeah.
I mean, Dude Perfect put out a post and a video saying thank you, because Luka would literally go to Dude Perfect and make videos with him. I mean, it's he was a massive part of the Texas community. He would go to the Texas Longhorn games, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, wherever he was.
Yeah.
In the state of Texas, he was there, and everybody knew Luka. He's not there anymore. So it's like, it sucks. I feel bad for a lot of the, diehard Maverick fans. But, that's life. And the Lakers apparently love to be the Dodgers in NBA form.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, they would have been stupid not to take that deal if the Mavs were the ones that, called them, which is what the reports are. The Mavericks reached out to them and said, "Hey, would you be interested in Luka?" And they were like, "Sure. What do you want?" And
how pissed do you have to be over conditioning?
Yeah, exactly.
To trade a generational talent, to go play with a generational talent, and you get back a great center
in a conference rival. That's just it too. I mean, not that conferences are as big of a deal in the NBA, because everyone plays everybody, but still, it's like that's your conference rival. If you want to get to the NBA Finals, you're going to have to go through the your Lakers are one of those teams that you might have to beat. And here you just traded your franchise player to them. It's
funny too, because being close to DC, the Wizards and Lakers are playing in, I think, next week. And my buddy and I were looking to get tickets. So this was before the whole trade situation went down. Tickets for that game were only $60.
Sure.
Okay. If I want to
The
go to
Mavs
that game, no, for the Lakers game.
Lakers. Yeah.
Lakers Wizards. If I want to go to the Lakers Wizards, it is $652.
Holy shit. Wow.
for not even maybe seeing Luca play. Mm-hmm.
For not even seeing Luka play, for probably not even seeing LeBron play. I'm paying $652 nosebleed all the way in the back where there's a screen in my face.
Wow. That's crazy. See, that's the other thing. Like, I used to love the NBA. I mean, I'm a like, football is my favorite sport overall, but basketball was always my favorite sport to play because I never played organized football. I was always so tiny. And so I used to love watching basketball, but with all the like just the mentality, and I'm gonna sound like that old man yelling at the clouds, but so be it. I
Get
mean,
off my lawn.
Yeah, get
Sorry,
off
I'm
my
back.
lawn. But you know, the like just the whole mentality of you know, load management and things like that. Like last year,
That's the biggest piece of bullshit.
yeah.
The freaking league has it. Excuse me. The NFL
Yep.
has it. It's called Veterans Rest Day Wednesdays.
Yeah, exactly. They do it in the middle of the week. You know, what sucks though is like for us here now, the Bucks. I went to a Bucks game for the first time in like probably 20 years. A couple years ago, my daughter wanted to go for her birthday, and her and I have our birthdays are 3 days apart. So it's like a lot of times we'll celebrate stuff together. But of course, she gets all the attention. But I mean, it's kind of like a combo birthday. So my wife was like, "Well, we'll get tickets for the Bucks game, you know." And we had never been to the Pfizer Forum, so we went. That was the first time there. Beautiful facility and everything. What sucks though with load management is, you know, and granted, we're only 2 hours away. You know, for where we live down to Milwaukee is only a 2-hour trip, but we got tickets last year, and that year we went. What's nice about our birthdays is that they're in April, so it's near the end of the year. So a lot of times, if the Bucks are if they're, you know, jockeying for a position in the playoffs, they're not going to rest Giannis, they're not going to rest Dame, they're not going to rest any of their important players because they want to win the games. So that's helpful in a way. So 2 years ago we saw them play Philadelphia, so we got to see Embiid, and James Harden was still on the team, so that was a good game. Last year it was the Lakers were in town, and so I was like, well, I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, LeBron, even though I can't stand him, but it's like still, I mean, he's one of the greatest players of this generation. I mean, and so we get there, and of course, thankfully, Giannis played, Dame played, all the Bucks played that I wanted to see. But we get there, and an hour and a half before the game, we're at one of the restaurants in the Deer District there watching TV, and across the crawler says LeBron James late scratch ankle injury. So it wasn't load management, or at least they said it wasn't. It was an ankle injury. But what made it worse was the Bucks were up by double digits in the fourth quarter, ended up blowing the lead and lost in double overtime. And I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." You know, so that sucked. But I guess my point being is it's hard to spend money to go to a game. And we were in the nosebleeds, but actually they weren't bad. They were pretty much the same seats we sat in the year before. Like I liked those seats, and they were only like $90 a piece. So I'm like, you know what the hell? We'll pay for them. We get in the stadium, and you know, it was a good time. But you never know. It would be better, you know, if we lived closer to Milwaukee, where you know, you could wait till that day. You could wait till a couple hours before the game before you even buy the tickets. You know, if you
you know, and I would, people always say like I'm spoiled being, you know, literally 30 minutes from Baltimore, 30 minutes from DC. It's like if I want to go to an O's game or a Nats game, I can wait till, you know, if let's say it's a 6:05 first pitch, I can wait till noon when the list comes out and just get a ticket right there.
Sure.
The one thing that I can't do, well, say I can't, but I can, is NBA. When the Wizards play, the Wizards always put their team out first. Like, oh yeah, these are the guys who are starting. But the away team doesn't do it until like 30 minutes before. And that 30 minutes before they do that, I'm driving I'm not stupid enough to look at my phone in DC traffic and be like, oh, let's see who's playing for the Lakers. Oh, LeBron's out. Pussy. Oh, Luke is out. Bastard. So what am I driving 30 minutes to go to a game for? It's one of those things where for people like you where you're 2 hours away, that sucks. I'd probably murder myself being 2 hours away from something. But for being 30 minutes away, I think it's the same thing as you though. Like you don't want to make that drive if you're not going to see your players, but you don't know until that 30 minutes before, whatever.
Yeah. And I guess we'll make one more point on that and then we'll go because there's another trade that I do want to talk about that happened a little while ago, but
there's multiple trades.
Well, there are multiple trades, but that's what I love about the NBA too, is that it's like there's rarely a trade that's just between two teams. It's like, you got to mix a third and fourth in. But what's nice for us is that it's usually not about who they play. It's about the Bucks themselves. So like we'll know way in advance. Okay, are they resting Giannis tonight? Are they resting Dame? Are they resting Brook Lopez, who I like too, even though he's not. I mean, he's not Giannis level or anything like that. But so I mean that's usually they're pretty good at announcing that. They don't do it like right at the last minute, especially if they're just giving them a night off. Like the other night. Yep. In Oklahoma City, they rested pretty much everybody. And they announced that the day before. Now, granted, that was in Oklahoma City, so it didn't matter. But they were like, yeah, we're not playing. It was a back-to-back, one of those back-to-back games. They just lost in Milwaukee. They had to go to Oklahoma City. They're like, yeah, we're resting everybody pretty much. We're just playing our backups. So they lost by like 30 points. But the other trade that I thought, I mean, obviously, for me, Chris Middleton going to Washington for Kuzma and that was a big deal. But the one I was really interested in was the fact that the Heat were actually able to move Jimmy Butler. Who at this point, I wasn't sure if they'd be able to do it just because of the fact that this guy is such a pain in the ass, for such a talented guy. But, I guess my question is Golden State one of those few teams that this guy might actually fit?
What it kind of reminds me of, and I don't want to say, I don't think he's on the same level as him as attitude-wise and just being arrogant and being an ass, but it kind of reminds me of Kevin Durant, just a little bit, that he needed like a little, almost like reprimanding. I mean, I feel like Steve Kerr can really work those guys pretty well to the point where like, okay, you played for Golden State. We know what you can do. We know what their discipline is.
Yeah.
So we could definitely use somebody like you to help us out with the younger guys. And, like Klay Thompson, all those guys, when they left, they took over the teams as captain. I mean, like literally guys looked up to him because of what they went through for Golden State. So I feel like with Butler, he kind of is, I have a buddy that works down in Miami and he is the definition of douchebag. You look it up, his picture is there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, and my buddy Anthony, Anthony's funny ass little dude. He even said he was like, hopefully he grows up and grows a pair of balls because he's just, when he doesn't want to play, he'll just whine about it. He won't play. Yeah. If they're mid game, he's not feeling it. He just takes himself out.
So to recap for everybody, what we're all talking about, Jimmy Butler was traded to the Golden State Warriors. He is the entire deal as of now. And I'm looking on Bleacher Report because I'm just picking everything because Shams tweets have been everywhere today.
Yeah.
The Warriors get Butler and has signed a 2-year, $121 million extension.
Jesus Lord.
Yep.
The Heat get Kyle Anderson, PJ Tucker, Andrew Wiggins, and Golden State's 2025 first-round top 10 protected through 27. This protection bullshit is ridiculous, by the way.
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
They also got Schroeder, who was immediately given to the Jazz, along with a 2031 second-round pick. Less favorable of Miami and Indiana via Miami. And the Pistons get Josh Richardson and Lindy Waters III. I don't know how the Pistons got involved in this, but just dump a salary on the Pistons, apparently. So that's the
Yep.
deal for Butler. It's a massive deal. They were able to get something back. I mean, you get I guess overrated Aaron Andrew Wiggins. Congratulations, you at least get our starting forward.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is they got PJ Tucker back, who they just had.
Yeah.
But well, I mean,
they're
whatever.
already trying to flip too. So
I think they just wanted to get rid of Jimmy Butler, which like you said, TJ, I agree with you. I think with what makes it work in Golden State, not that we know it's going to, but I think it will, only because they have that track record. Steve Kerr has the track record as a coach.
Yep.
Don't F with him. I mean, he's not going to be afraid to bench your ass if you want to be a jackwagon. Even though what's funny is he was a dick to Kevin Spoelstra, who is actually a pretty darn successful coach too. But who knows? Maybe just he needs to change the scenery. The NBA, I feel like, is the only league where that kind of crap actually works.
Yeah,
whether you're weird. Jimmy Butler, James Harden, I mean, is notorious for just, hey, if I don't want to play, I want to be traded. And it's like, okay, well, you're under contract, but apparently it doesn't matter. Anyway, so
there was another major deal, and I think this is stupid. I think Butler is extremely talented, but I think his attitude has gotten him into a little trouble. Because it's like he's getting bounced around different places. Now, again, he's super talented. I wanted him here on the Celtics years ago, but his attitude is just not. Would you
have wanted him now? Would you have wanted him now if Miami had offered him now? No.
No.
Okay, just ask him.
Who am I starting Jimmy Butler over?
That's true.
Exactly.
Jason Tatum.
I would have traded Tatum for Luka in a vacuum. That's for damn sure.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
For sure.
The problem is the way the Celtics are constructed, that would be stupid.
Yep.
But so the other big trade so far is Levine to the Kings. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, which was really interesting. So the Bulls get Zach Collins from the Spurs, Kevin Huerter from the Kings, Trey Jones from the Spurs, a 2025 first-round pick of their own. The Kings got Sidney Sissoko, Levine, 3 firsts, 3 seconds. That's how you do a trade! You get ridiculous amounts of capital for De'Aaron Fox. And the Spurs get Fox and McLaughlin. Really, the Spurs just got Fox to build with Wemby.
Yep.
And this is a future trade. Fox has already started at the 2 tonight. He's going to go back to the 1 next year when Paul's not there. Fox at the 1, Wemby at the 5, Vassell at the 2, maybe Keldon Johnson at the 3. Insert 4 here. That team has got 2 players to build around. Vassell's a good piece. So it'll be really fun to see what the Spurs can do. Adding Fox was a huge move for them.
For sure. All right, one more thing I wanted to and then we could wrap it up here. And I just kind of wanted to get your takes on this. Major League Baseball yesterday, was it? Yes, yesterday or 2 days ago. 2 days ago now, I believe, fired umpire Pat Hoberg, who, of course, and this is now, and I understand why they had. I mean, they I guess had to fire him, so to speak, because of their gambling rules. But what I find hilarious is that this is the guy who, from what I had heard, is one of the only ones to ever get a perfect score when it came to balls and strikes, and it was during a World Series a number of years ago. I believe it was when the Phillies were in the World Series. He was behind the plate and called, when they graded him after the game or, whatever, got all 129 pitches that he called exactly correct, according to like what the computer said.
So his crew does a lot of the Eastern Seaboard stuff.
Yeah.
He's been at Philly, he's been in DC. I know he's been up in Boston at Fenway. He's definitely been with the Yankees. I know he's been with the O's because he did the O's. He was actually the umpire for the O's Astros game 2 years ago when Kyle Tucker hit a grand slam to win it in the ninth. He was there, and every call that he had, I think there was one that he missed, but he said it, at the end of the game, whatever you want to call it. He even said, like, on a report, like, yeah, I missed that one call, but that was the only call that he missed.
Yeah. This guy,
they've been phenomenal.
They've been trying to get rid of some of these umpires for years. I mean, who's the one? And I can't. I was telling my wife about him yesterday. Now I can't remember his name.
Bill Miller.
No.
Can't get rid of Bill Miller.
No, he's a Hispanic umpire.
Oh, Angel Rodriguez.
Yes,
Angel Rodriguez,
the one that was involved in the issues last year. Leave him alone. Listen, MLB. Y'all make ridiculous amounts of money. You decide to have no salary cap. Shut the up and let me have my extreme pitching umpires and my extreme hitters umpires. Shut up. It gives me an advantage in DFS to make money.
It's all about Adam right now. It's all about
damn
Adam.
Right, it is.
Right. Damn right.
Well, it's funny too. Anytime
this
Angel
is why
Hernandez
you cannot fire
ballpark,
Bill Miller.
Well, anytime Angel Hernandez comes to a ballpark, he gets booed and he gets hot dogs and beers thrown at him.
There was something that went on with him over the last year or two, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, they've been trying. Every time they try to fire him, he threatens to sue him for discrimination. So then they're like, okay, we'll back off.
Back it off.
But this is Major League Baseball's luck. This is how Major League Baseball with Rob Manfred is as the commissioner. It's like nothing.
I mean, I think
even trying to improve the games, talking about that golden bat bullshit. It's like, dude, just shut up and just stay in your office. Leave everything as is until you retire in 2028, and then we can move on. But yeah, this is anyway. So, all right, guys, it is. Well, I said we're going to keep it under 2 hours, and I meant about an hour, but we're 17 minutes ahead of schedule. So, anyone have anything for 4 minutes on high? I was trying to think. Oh, you got something, TJ? Okay, let's here. Hold on. We gotta get your we gotta get everything right here. Boom, there we go.
All right, so I got two things for you guys. I'm gonna go for the first one. It's a little easy. It's not as harsh. I am super excited. College lacrosse is back. We already had our first upset this season. The Utah Utes beat Ohio State Buckeyes. So suck it, Buckeye fans. I hate Buckeye fans. But I'm excited because I grew up playing lacrosse. It's a massive sport here in Maryland. It's a fun time to go to. I know there's not much towards you, Aaron. Adam, there is probably one of the best club teams in the New England area. So there is lacrosse around you. So have fun with that if you can find a game. I will say this. Lacrosse is not for everybody. It is very harsh and it hurts. Now, my second one. Read whatever it says at the bottom of my name tag. What does it say?
Beyonce isn't country.
Damn right. Why the fuck did she win Country Artist of the Year? She beat out some of the best country artists. Country Album of the Year.
Yep.
She beat out Chris Stapleton. Well, damn, he must have drank too much whiskey for that one. He beat out Post Malone. Now, I will give Post Malone the benefit of the doubt. He has been more on the countryside than anything. And he's had his time in with the countryside. Megan Maroney. Great songs this year. Yep. Lainey Wilson. I mean, who doesn't love a dump truck of an ass? Now you get somebody who thinks that you can go into any genre of music and win it. Beyonce is not country. I don't give a shit if she's from Texas. I don't claim her as a country music fan or star. That is utterly outrageous. If she is at the CMA Awards this year, I'm going to stop listening to country music.
No doubt.
I'm done. She's not a country music artist.
She's a hip hop artist, isn't she?
She's a hip hop artist. She's R&B. She's rap. Whatever you want to call it.
That was the other one.
No.
That stick to that. The only people that the country community has brought in is Jelly Roll And Post Malone, whoever laughed at that, it's true.
Sorry.
Fuck off.
I do. Post Malone is fantastic. His album is
Post Malone is
kick-ass.
great.
Yeah.
When I think country, I'm sorry, and that's the reason I chuckled. I don't think Jelly Roll and Post Malone. I'm thinking Garth.
you
I'm thinking
wouldn't.
Blake Shelton, Garth
But,
Brooks.
but you're thinking the older style, which is something that I still like. I grew up in George Strait, Trace Atkins, like all the big old school names. Nowadays, it's more getting into like that poppy country, as I call it.
Yeah.
But there is still that thick, real country. Cody Johnson, Zach Top is one of them, But I'm sorry, and it's nothing against Beyonce at all, because I mean, who didn't have a crush on her back in the day? She's not country. I'm sorry. And if Jay-Z watches this by some odd chance, your wife ain't country, fucking fight me for it, dude.
No, I completely agree with that. What was funny is we were watching the Grammys, and I was in the kitchen doing some work at the table, and my wife and my daughter were watching it in the living room. And when that award came out, the very first one that she won, because I think she won 2 that night.
She did.
The very first one she won, which was the one where she beat out like Lainey Wilson and Post Malone and all those guys. My wife and daughter were both like, when my wife was like, I hope Post Malone wins. And my daughter, I think, wanted Lainey Wilson or whatever. And I started laughing. I'm like, you watch. I said, Beyonce's winning this one. And she's like, she better not. And sure as shit, they announced Beyonce. And my wife and daughter were so pissed. I started laughing. I said, you have to look at the awards ceremony going on. The Grammys are all about making political statements and making social statements. That's what this was about. If this was the CMAs, she wouldn't have won. If this was the AMAs or whatever other country music awards they have, she wouldn't have won. This was the Grammys. The Grammys are all liberal. They're about pushing the envelope and all that stuff when it comes to that agenda. And of course she was going to win. And the thing is, too, that, but Taylor Swift was introducing it, and Beyonce, I think, has an issue with Taylor Swift switching from country to pop and becoming even bigger than she was when she was country.
Well, the thing is, when you look at the Grammys, it's all this album group will push to this album group and be like, hey, you vote for me, I vote for you. And it's like this songwriter and that songwriter, it's not real voting, fan voting. When you go to the CMAs, when you go to the AMAs, when you go to the iHeart Radio Festival, stuff like that, or the iHeart Radio Awards, something like that. Yeah. Those are all fan voted. Mm-hmm. The Grammys are not. And yes, there have been years where country music stars just fucking sweep the floor. Lainey Wilson swept the floor 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
But now, this has made a lot of controversy, and it's not just like in the country world alone. It's in pop as well, because now you're getting people who think they can sing country music coming to the country music side, and they sound like a dying dog that needs to be put out behind the shed.
It sounds terrible.
Adam, you have anything for your 4 minutes on high or not?
If I would say anything on 4 minutes on high, it's political, and I'm not going to go there.
Oh, you're not going to go there. Okay.
I will be very nice. All I'm saying is this is
America. Don't catch you slipping up.
2028, Cone 2028. Make America have common sense again. Because this administration is realistically none of that right now. It's scary, just really concerning.
Okay,
it is, but that's besides the point. But anyway, you know what we all can do is, regardless of what they decide to do over there, we can control how we talk and interact with our fellow man and woman. Period. Plain and simple. They don't control how we can be good people and how we treat one another. Overcome fear with hate. Overcome fear with love.
Both sides could use that message. I mean, there's plenty of that on both sides.
How about y'all get rid of the damn side, shut up and do what's best for the country?
Hey, I don't have any problem with that either. So, All right, everybody. Why don't we wrap it up then? Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl.
Go Eagles!
Go Eagles. Yep. And we'll see you all again next week. Wednesday,
Later, folks.
8:30 Central. Take care, everybody.
Smile and wave.
Right now, I'm working on my dad, but oh my God.